just another minute or so to see if anybody else joins us, and then we'll go ahead and talk about your big paper for this class. So no, it should be a very doable project, and it'll ask you to just do a couple things that maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone, but hopefully not too much. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start talking about what is posted on Moodle, this first part of this research assignment for your graduate course. And you recall, you all don't have to do the exams for this class, you just do this paper. And so there will be a second exam for the undergraduates, but you don't have to worry about that either. Now, at any point, you can stop me and ask me questions if I'm going along and there's something that occurs to you that I didn't explain very well at all, and you need to ask a question, that's fine. But there will be time at the end to ask any questions you have about this. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to screen share with you and go right to the Moodle page. Just a second, let me bring it up here. Let me find it on my screen so I can screen share it. Okay. Let me go back. This should work now. Yeah, so this is what I have posted here. So what you ultimately are doing for this assignment is you will need to turn in a 10-page paper and a slideshow that shares your findings that you will gather from one, talking to 3 professionals in criminal justice, or I said related fields, and then integrating the content of those interviews and what you found out from asking folks those questions with some research that you find in journals like Criminology and the Journal of Criminal Justice. So integrating your findings from the interviews with what you find in the research on the topic of crime and criminal recidivism. And so most of you are already aware that a disproportionate share of crime is committed by a shockingly small percentage of offenders. Something like 5% of active offenders are responsible for over 50% of crimes in any major city. And this is a repeated finding that people who look at criminologists who look at these things keep finding. So it's worthwhile to think about how to curb criminal recidivism, how to focus on the real hard cases, and if we can control them, we can focus on them, we might be able to make a more effective dent in crime rates overall. And so, yeah, the first big thing in this that's a little bit different than maybe previous papers that you did, I'm asking you to look to be contacting people in the criminal justice field to ask them these questions here about why do people return to crime after being punished? So that's recidivism. What can be done to reduce it? And are changes to the criminal justice system required with the goal in mind of reducing crime? And so you're going to want to ask 3 different individuals these 3 questions at least, plus at least 2 others of your own making that you will show to me before you start testing them out in the field, so to speak. But for this first part, before you're talking to anybody about this stuff, I would like you to give me as much information as you can about people that you think you would probably like to talk to. And you might want to have backups for this. Just generally, you might have, I want to talk to a judge. I want to talk to a police officer. I would like to talk to somebody in corrections. I would like to talk to a counselor. I'd like to talk to a police officer. I'd like to talk to a social worker. and you want to look on this information is usually available online at various agencies. People who are the directors of programs are usually good to talk to about these kind of questions. People who are kind of listed on the websites of various agencies are used to getting contacted. So look for any director, administrator type title to direct your questions to, your initial or at least your initial entries on this assignment. And so be as detailed as you possibly can with the people that you would like to reach out to, and a good idea to have backups. But yeah, they don't have to specifically come from criminal justice. There is tremendous overlap in the populations that social workers and counselors and psychologists work with, and the people that are processed through the criminal justice system. And so if you know people that you could talk to about this that are in these related fields, that is fine. But I would ask that they are, they're not all holding this exact same position. Like, I don't want you to talk to all, 3 drug and alcohol counselors, and that's all who you talk to. Get somebody in there in the criminal justice system, and then somebody else that could be in counseling, but a very different area. So it's just not all the same people. That the idea here is to get a take on a hard problem from people who are professionally engaged in an area that's directly related to, or at least tangentially related to it, that are going to be seeing these people at different stages and may have different things to say about them. And so that's the first major step here in this, is that you want to identify people who are going to hopefully be good sports and participate. And then you want to also be asking or writing additional questions here. These 3 questions should be asked of everyone that you interview. And then you want to have at least 2 more questions that may be tailored to their specific, their background. That'd probably be a good idea. If you have a question or 2 that's tailored specifically to their background. You can have more than 5 questions total, but don't have any more than 10. The interviews themselves, I'll give you some parameters on that, and some other information about general kind of script or template on how you should introduce yourself or what you should say when you're first trying to reach out to people. But you're probably not going to be eating up more than 15, 20 minutes of these people's time. As for the details of the interview, whether or not it'd be a good idea to have it like a Zoom interview that you would record if they could agree to that. You can't record them unless you let them know. It's just when you want to go back and not necessarily transcribe directly, but recall some of the content of the interview. It'd be very nice if you have some record of it. You can try just talking on the phone and taking notes. That's a little bit more challenging. So I won't ask for the interviews themselves. Just I'm not going to demand that you hand over recordings of your conversations with these people, but just saying that you will want to start thinking about these things. But this is something else that we'll get to the details of that in the next few days here after you're probably making some good headway on this. But yeah, so you want to have some additional questions with this, the idea in mind that you're trying to address this problem of crime among the most high risk, the chronic offenders, the people that are in and out of jail quite frequently. And so this is a population that is really demanding. And also this is an opportunity here when you start writing this paper, is to try to apply some of these criminological theories that we're learning about. Is it something psychological or biological with the person that explains these hard cases? Is it sociological? Is it their environment? Is it the situation that they're in? These are all things that you'll start addressing in the paper itself. But also when you do this third part of this assignment, when you're to locate research articles, scholarly articles, you'll want to try to address, you're addressing these 3 questions for the 3 articles that you're looking up, and I say a total of 150, 250 words per article. So all told, your answers to these questions should total roughly in that 150, 250 word range. So you are finding articles on this subject of crime and criminal recidivism. Some of you may have the exact same articles. I'm completely fine with that. But this is just a matter of you going out and finding articles. I would recommend that you use Google Scholar. That's a really good way to find articles. Usually you can get the PDFs right there on the page. They'll be available. Or you want to go through the Marywood Library website and use academic search. Premier, I think it's called, the database. Use that database, academic search Premier, and make sure and click for all, use all databases. There's a little box that you want to click. Make sure and do that, and then it'll find pretty much everything. And if you, those two ways are the best ways of getting articles. You could search for terms like criminal recidivism, or just really any articles that come out of criminology journals are probably going to be somewhat useful for this, because you don't have to necessarily search for the term criminal recidivism to find something out about why people may repeat offend, why anything that can be done to reduce it, and changes the criminal justice system. So those are the three topics really that you should be having in mind when you're searching for it. So don't get too hung up on the term recidivism, because that will really limit your search. And so you want to think about it a little bit more broadly. But yeah, you're trying to apply some of your criminological knowledge to this question of why people offend repeatedly, and if anything can be done about it. It's something that needs to be done to the system itself. And so you'll be answering those three questions, and sort of a way to prepare the ground for your paper that should be integrating what the research literature says with what the people said in their interviews. Okay, that's the ultimate goal here, is to integrate what this research says with what the people in interviews says and say, and that's what you want to be aiming for with this paper. Okay, and so that gives you the overall of what you should be aiming for this paper. And then more immediately on the 20th here of October, what you should be submitting is your questions, your people, and your responses to the questions in the articles that you found. Questions about the assignment, about anything that I bungled and didn't explain right.
Dr. Safran.
Yes.
So this, I just want to make sure that, so the actual interviews, so our answers to these questions are due by the 20th.
The answers to the questions that you're getting by reading the articles are due by the 20th, not the interviews themselves. That's not going to be until sometime in November. That will be all collected and done. I'm going to set a due date for when you should aim to have all your interviews in by. The questions here are just addressing them based on what you've read, the articles that you found to help address these questions. That's what you're turning in on the 20th. So no interviews are occurring yet.
Treat each question like we've been responding to the discussions, like 250 words per question.
Yeah, well, over per article. So you'll have one article, and that will be used to address these questions, and then you'll use another article, and you'll address them using these questions. You'll address these questions, and the third article will be used to address these questions. So you want to try to find articles that say something a little bit different. I mean, there will be probably some overlap, but overall, yeah, you should have up to 250 words per article when you're responding to these questions overall. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
I have a question. So when we're looking at the articles, are we only trying to answer the 3 questions that you posted, or all of our like 5 to 10 questions?
No, you only have to, I'm only requiring that you answer these three questions on here, but if there's other ones that you would like to raise and address, that is fine with me.
Okay.
So yeah, because ultimately you are going to be asked to do this kind of thing when you're writing the body of the paper. You will want to have reporting back what you found in scholarly research as a part of the paper. And so by answering these questions, it's kind of like you're already starting to write the paper. You want to think about it like that, because you'll want to, you should be able to just literally cut and paste some of the answers to these questions right into your paper when you're writing that. Yeah, with that 10-page paper, you should be able to do that.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you want more than the 3 scholarly articles? Because if we start interviewing people, and like you said, they may not fit what our interviewees, if we're going to incorporate it all together, integrate it into one paper, they may be other articles that apply better.
Oh yeah, ultimately, yeah, you will need to have more than 3 scholarly articles for the final paper, and so the interviews themselves may take you in directions that cause you to cite things that are just our response to your interview, what you found in your interview. Yeah, so right, yeah, ultimately I'll ask you to have more than 3 scholarly citations. So yeah, that the interview themselves may push you in a certain direction in the types of things that you should bring up in the scholarly research. Yeah.
One other thing too.
Okay.
It might be a silly question, but scholarly article, like,
Okay. No. Good
is that
question.
something that's peer reviewed? That those kind of articles?
Yeah,
or
absolutely. Yeah.
Find in like Psychology Today. Is that considered a scholarly article?
No. So when you search for Google Scholar using Google Scholar, that will limit your search to only scholarly articles.
Okay.
If you use the Merriwood website, the database Academic Search Premier, that will limit your results to only scholarly articles.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned those 2, because that's how you only get. I mean, some of the very best criminology journals, there is one that's just called Criminology. There's one called Journal of Criminal Justice. Those are 2 really good ones for researching this very topic. But there are oodles of others that will do the job. But yeah, Criminology and the Journal of Criminal Justice are 2 of the top ones. There's also Criminology and Public Policy. That's the sister journal to Criminology.
Okay, thank you.
Those are some of the best that are out there really in the world. Those are like the highest ranking ones as they rank these things. Those are the top.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
I have a question too.
Yes.
So the proposal's due by the 20th. Are we bound by the questions that we submit, or is there room to like change them? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you could change some of your own questions after having maybe thought about the project for a little bit. But the 3 questions that you have, you can't really tinker with too much, are the ones that I have written there on the screen. Those are the ones that pretty much have to be asked. If you want to go down a route that you're getting into more of the biological or psychological notions behind crime, or if you're more concerned about the more kind of the sociological stuff, you can tailor questions that address that kind of thing. And those can change after you've read a little bit more and maybe have thought about it a little bit more. That's fine. But yeah, you want to have those 3 questions, the ones that should be asked of all 3 of your people. So you have that as a constant, and then the other questions can vary. So long as you report back to me and in your paper what questions you used. And so the research methods are crystal clear on the questions you actually use in the interview. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have another question.
Yes.
Now on the proposal, you want to know the people that we're going to be interviewing too? With the lock in?
Yeah, I would like you to have those those folks listed on this proposal that you propose that you're going to be interviewing these people, these names, those names of course could change because they could turn up to not be available. So you might want to have backups if you could do that. But you're not going to be locked into interviewing those particular people if they're not available. But yeah, just you want to be as specific as you can, though, just so you do have a very clear path as to how you're going to proceed. Who you're going to reach out to. So try to pin yourself down to some people, but you by no means are pinned down to those particular people. After you submit the assignment to me, it could turn out that, oh, this person is, I understand that this person wants to, can help me. And so that's fine. That's, you just have to report in the end who you actually used in your final paper.
Okay, and is there a limit on the slideshow? I take it it's a recording that's narrated by us as well?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is have those 2/Zoom sessions. I will give you control of Zoom, and you can control the screen. And you will present your findings, and so it's going to be. I'm not sure yet if you really need to have a highly detailed slideshow. I would keep it pretty limited. We don't have a whole lot of time, but it's something just to highlight the major themes in your paper. So yeah, that's what I'll probably do is have you everybody can take 5 to 10 minutes. So the number of slides, it really depends on how much information you have on each slide. So that I would keep it no more than like 3 or 4 slides, really, because that you're getting into 5 to 10 minute presentation. You get more than 3 or 4 slides, you'll probably go over the 10-minute time frame. So yeah, I'd
Okay,
keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, folks? If something does come up, yeah, just make sure and reach out to me sooner than later. But yeah, this step 1 is due on the 10th the 20th. Prior to that, I will be giving you a rubric of what you should be doing with your paper and the next steps of the things that will be going into this project. So, but for right now, yeah, just be making some progress on this, and I'll see you then. I'll be sending out an announcement that our next Zoom meeting is going to be on Wednesday. And so that we'll talk about stuff on prostitution on this Wednesday. And so that's, I think that's it, unless there's something else. Anything else, folks? Okay, very good. I will post this on Moodle, this video, and see if anybody else has questions. And we'll just, I'll see you, hopefully I'll see you all Wednesday, but good luck with this, and let me know if there's any problems that come up, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.